Hey boys and girls, welcome back to Mill. My name's Bill and this is Danny. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry, and what we're going to do today is I kind of hurt my back and my wife has got me on super secret probation. Just took in a log delivery. I'm kind of not supposed to be doing anything, but I've got one small order of 13 1x6s, 4 4x6 boards to cut for a grill deck down in Chatham, Massachusetts. And I want to get started on it because I already had the log up on the mill. We're going to get started on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sawmilling 101 video for you guys, which basically tells you how to walk your way through a log. Now, any of you who've been watching me for any amount of time, you know that I do a lot of commentary when I'm cutting logs, and I kind of tell you what my thought process is, what I'm doing. So you see it for the most part, but I'm going to walk you through this log and explain a basic cutting pattern just to cut 1x6s and how I go about it. Hopefully that helps you out if you're just getting into sawmilling and you don't understand really, you know, I throw my first log up there and what do I do? Well, this is going to explain. So to start, we have to talk a little bit about how we put this up here, why we put it up here, and what we do when we put it up here. I did see a post, and I won't say who the channel was, this past week, where they're cutting a timber frame and they're doing a wonderful job, absolutely wonderful job. And they had a level up on top of the log, a fairly long log. They were cutting big beams, and it had a little angle finder on it, and they were crawling around underneath here with a bottle jack, and they were leveling the log. And as they were leveling the log, they were putting the log to perfectly level, you know, to like the 10th of a degree on one of those levels with the angle finder on it. And I commented to them, why did you level the top of the log? You're already level on the bottom. So all you're doing is undoing what's on the bottom and moving it to the top. That's not what you're trying to accomplish with a log like this. We cut a lot of hardwoods in the Northeast, and in hardwoods, a lot of times the pith isn't centered on both ends. So sometimes you can't work off the pith. But what you want to do with a log is you want to put the log in what I call is the center of the cone. So if you can imagine the big end being a circle, the small end being a point, so it's a triangle like that. The small end, you're trying to bring it up so that the center of the point is in line with the center of the circle. So if this end was 10 inches and that end was 8 inches, you don't want to bring that end up too to make it flat. All you're doing is undoing what you already have on the bottom. You already have a flat. What you want to do is you want to bring that up and split the difference, or you want to center the pith. In this case, this log is really symmetrical and really straight, and it's a really basic log, which is why I chose to shoot this video. And I centered the pith on both sides. So the pith is the same height down here as it is down there off the bunks. And then when I turn it, it's so symmetrical that I can just leave that toe board up and make my second cut. And then we have to put the toe boards down and we've done all our work. But the reason that we do that is that if you can picture this log as if you could grab a handful of straws so that they were the long way like this. You held on to those straws. What you're trying to do is all the little straws that make up this log, which is basically what it is. There are little veins inside that carry water from the bottom of the tree to the top of the tree. You know, we can call it grain, but there are tubes in these logs. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to keep those tubes inside the board that you're cutting. So if it had a lot of taper like this, and you cut boards out of it, the grain is just going straight up through the board, straight up diagonally through the board. It makes the board very weak. You want the straws to start at this end and stay in that board all the way to the other end. So that's the reason that we level it, aside from obviously yield and things like that. But the real reason that you level the log is so that you can keep that straw structure inside the board from one end to the other. That gives that board all its strength and its ability to flex and not break. And you don't want those straws running at a diagonal through the board. If you can imagine stepping on a 2x4 that was like that, would just snap right in half at an angle and make that little angled break. So I'm going to bring you over here and I'm going to show you a map out on the end of this log to talk about the basic cutting pattern that we're going to go through, and then we'll cut it. So you may or may not be able to see my face, but what we're going to talk about is a basic cutting pattern through this log to cut 1x6s and to get our maximum yield out of it. What I've done is I have taken from the center of the log here and I measured top to bottom, side to side, and ended up with a 6-inch square here, all right? The square we call a cant. Now this log would yield a little. I tried to choose a log that was going to cut this pretty close. You have to understand that this is the big end. That's why we map out of the center. What we have here is we have our top cut's going to be on this side. Our second cut's going to be here. Our third cut's going to be here. And then our fourth side is going to end up on the top, and then we're going to mill down through it. So we'll be milling down through the log, through the cant in this direction. Our top cut, our goal is to get to this line. So we're actually going to drop the mill down to this line. We're going to come up 1 inch. We're going to come up actually 1 1/8 inches. We're going to make a cut here, or we're going to make a line here. And we'll come up 1 1/8 inches somewhere in here and see if that top cut is reasonable. And then we will drop down until we hit this, and then we'll turn it. We'll do the same thing on this side. And then when we cut our third side, we'll be setting our width. We'll be cutting to our 6-inch width. So we'll come up to 7 1/8 and then possibly 8 1/4 to get our top cut. That'll give us our 6-inch width. And when we make our final flip, this surface here will be on the top, and we will set our scale at 4/4 scale on our mill and mill down through this and cut all our 6-inch planks out of the middle of it. So this just gives you a basic guideline to go off of. If you have enough room, you can drop down to the pith, come up 3, then 1 1/8, and then another 1 1/8 to get this top cut too. If you watch Mike Wilson at Wilson Forest Lands, that's how he cuts his Douglas fir logs, because they're so round and so perfect. Laying yourself out something in the beginning is not a bad idea. It just gives you an idea of where to cut. So we're going to go off this basic cutting pattern. I'm going to cut it. I'll tell you as I go through, and we'll end up with a bunch of nice, perfect 1x6s through here. My guess is that we're going to end up with somewhere around 9 of the 13 that we need. So I left your view back a little bit from this angle so you can kind of see what I'm doing on the end of the log. And when I'm turning the log with the hydraulics, I'll be over here on the side. You won't really be able to see me that good, but you'll see what's going on. We're going to go ahead and drop down to our line. We don't really know where that line is right now, but we're going to get somewhere close. All right, so we're going to call this 10 5/8. That's where that line is right there. We're going to come up to 11 3/4, and we're going to take a look down our log and see how that looks. It looks about right. I think I'm just going to take my cut right there. If you want to steal a board above this, then we can come up to 12 7/8. See what that looks like. It doesn't look too bad, so let's just go ahead and cut it right there. Not a horrible opening face. We can probably steal a board there. And we got to know that we're at 12 7/8. We're going to drop to 11 3/4 and take a board. This just makes sure that our flitch cuts are going to be 4/4, so we have a chance of getting in some extra material. And this could be edged off into a board. If we were just cutting 1x6s that weren't for an order, this could end up being a good board. Keep this to the side to be edged later. And now I'm going to cut myself one more flitch and get myself to my line. If you don't work out of the center of the log, and if you just flipped it right now, I'll guarantee you end up with wane on your cant. The way I'm doing it, I won't. So we were at 11 3/4. We're going to drop to 10 5/8, which is where our line is. As long as I clear my stops, I'm all good. Yep. Every time I come up 2 cranks, which is like 2 inches. So I know I'm going to be clear. We're going to take this flitch off, and then we're going to spin the log 90 degrees. Now there are 2 different cutting methods here. What I'm trying to show you is the cutting method that requires the least amount of flips. You can flip this log all the way over right now, put this side down. It just creates an extra flip for you later. So we're going to try to go 90 degrees with this, get it snugged up, and then we'll work off our other thing. Then we can put our toe board down and cut the rest of the log out. And what I want to do when I do this, I'm going to bring my stops all the way up, move my clamp out. I'm going to bring my log turner up, start turning it, see if it's going to turn. Perfect. I'm going to bring my clamp in, clamp it, put my log turner down, and now I'm going to bring my stops down so they're out of my way. Now we're going to go back to the log again, and we're probably going to be about similar to we were last time. We're going to go down to our line. Right there, it's at 10 7/8, so I'm going to come up to 12. That's 1 1/8. I'm going to make a line, and I'm going to come up to 13 1/8. Make another line. See what that looks like. It looks good. I'm going to cut it right there. Your slab wood here, I just throw it right on my bobcat. Kind of note where you are, so I know I'm at 13 1/8. I know I'm going to come down to 12. Make another cut. I just close up the mouth on my saw a little bit. Yeah, the other one was at 10 7/8. Now here is a point where you can veer off your lines right now. I know I'm going to be milling this cant in this direction. All right, so if I'm 6 inches wide on this face now all the way down, even at my smallest point, I don't have to take any more off. I don't have to come down to my line here. So we're going to do some measurements. It looks like I am, and that's why I say that. And the other reason that you can do this is because I'm wane free on the other side. If I have wane on the other side, I'd probably take that board, but I don't. So I'm just going to see if I have that 6. Looks like it's no problem. I have more than 6 all the way down. So I can go ahead and flip it right now and we'll do the third side. We just have to remember to drop the toe board on the third side. So we're gonna go ahead and move our clamp out. We're gonna pull our stops all the way up. We're gonna pull our turner up, start turning, see if it turns, if it needs help with the clamp or not. And one of the good things about doing it this way is that I can help it with the clamp if I need to. Okay, we got it all the way turned. We put our turner all the way down. We're going to drop our far toe board all the way down. We're going to drop our stops all the way down. And we don't need to go all the way because we're not going below 6 inches. So as long as we're below 6 inches, we're good. Get our clamp down below 6 inches. Clamp it up, and we're going to cut side 3. Now on this side, this cut, we're going to set our width. So what we want to do is we want to start at 6 inches up. And if you want to make a line with the saw, it'll help you. So I'll make a line at 6 inches, then a line at 7/8, then a line at 8 1/4. See if that's where I can take my top cut off. So I'm going to drop down to 6, because that's setting my width. And this saves me a turn, because now when I turn it up, I can cut the whole thing right out. That's pretty damn close to my line. It's just off it. So we're going to go up to 7 1/8. Make a line there. Go up to 8 1/4. And that looks like a good top cut, so let's take it. We're at 8 1/4. We're going to drop down to 7 1/8. Take a flitch. We're adding the 8ths because of the kerf thickness. Come up 1.5 cranks, we'll come right back, we'll drop right down to 6 and cut it at 6, and we set our width. We're going to come back, we're going to flip this up, then I'm going to show you how to set your scale. So when we cut the other side, we're milling down on 4/4 scale. Now these flitches that have the nice straight side on them, you can edge those in 2 seconds. When you get down in this log, say like you mill down below 6 inches to like 4 inches or something like that, you can stop and throw these flitches on that have this nice straight side on it and just cut them right at 6. And they're 6-inch boards. We'll do that too. The ones with the nice straight side are easy to do that way. The other ones you kind of have to, I usually wait till they build up and have a whole morning where all I do is edge off flitches. So stops all the way up. I'm gonna pull my clamp out, go down with my clamp, go underneath the log, just in about 1/3, pick it up a little bit. I'm gonna pull the log out. Now I'm gonna start raising my clamp. It's gonna raise my clamp up. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shove it over, back it off just a hair so I can drop my stops all the way down. We're gonna go all the way down with these. You gotta keep your clamp low. And now I'm gonna show you how to set your scale so you can cut down through this all the way to the bottom, cutting 1-inch boards all the way through it. All right, so I'm behind the camera right now, and you can see there are a pile of different numbers here. Now this red magnetic scale over here, which is adjustable. I can slide it up and down, is my 4/4 scale. Usually I put my red line right at the top of each one of those little black sections. On Norwood scale itself, they have a built-in 4/4 scale, which is scaled off the bottom of the log. So in other words, the 4 at the top here is lined up with 1 inch. And then the next 4 would be at 2 1/8, and then the next 4 would be at 3 1/4. So we're going to use Norwood's 4/4 scale here when we drop down, because we don't have to set a scale. We have a 4/4 scale set off the bottom of the log. And what the bottom of the log means is that when I finish, I will end up with a 1 inch board at the bottom. Now, if you had all your weight on the bottom and no weight on the top, you can scale off the top too and just drop on inches and set your scale. So you come to the top of the log, wherever that is, but let's just say it was 10 1/2. You would put your red line at 10 1/2 if that was the top of the log. And then you would move this scale until it lined up with the red line. And then you would just follow these scale drops down. So we're going to come up to the top of the log, and we're going to find the 4/4 mark that best lines up with a top cut. Probably going to be about 10 inches. Yes. So it is at 10 inches. And I'm on my 4/4 mark. I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to take the slab cut off quick, and then drop right straight down through the whole thing. And one thing's for sure is that math does not lie. This log was about 12 inches on the small end, and that should cant out at 8.6. So there is some weight on that top one right there, and there's no way around that. We're still going to get a clean board on the bottom plus our flitches. So our next drop should be to 8 7/8, and there's a 4/4 mark right there, and we're going to go right there. I know that the top cut's at 10, so I can just come up to above 10, rip it back, drop back down to the next one, make my cut. That's what we're gonna do. So anything above 10, I know I'm clear. Come back. This one should be at... Come up above 10, rip it back. That one was at 7 3/4. I lost my head there. Just drop down to the next 4, 6 and 5/8. As long as you hit your 4s, you're all set. Take the math out of it. Come up above 10, rip it back. Next cut should be at 5 1/2. Or just line it up with the 4. Kind of is a good idea to keep track in your head, just so you get better at the math and so you don't screw up. I'm going to come up above 10. I'm going to come back. I'm going to put my saw head back here. We're going to take these boards off. I'll show you these boards at the end here. Just take those boards off. I'm going to put my flitches on. We're going to put the flat side down, cut them right at 6 inches, and add them to this pile. And right now I'm only, just so you don't have to stay and watch the whole flitch process, I'm only doing the ones with the no wane bottoms that are flat. The top of this can is at 5.5, so I won't touch it. I do have a manual clamp here, so I just use my manual clamp for a second. Just to cut this. I'm going to cut these right at 6 inches and add the boards to those. There might be a 1x2 or a 1x4 in a couple of those, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because we're cutting in order. We've already got 4 over here. We're adding 3 more right now. One of them does have some wane, but they're going to be deck boards, so that wane could go down. And now we're going to cut the rest of this cant out. We're going to put our stops all the way down. We're going to make sure they're down so you don't hit them. We're going to come in and clamp it really low. Now we're going to drop down to the next 4 that's less than 5.5, which is 4 3/8. Make a cut there. Come up about 5.5. Come back. Next drop should be to 3 1/4. Come up about 5.5. Go back. Next drop should be to 2 1/8. The reason you should say that to yourself is you'll find the mistakes that you make sometimes. Come up about 5.5. Our next drop's going to be to 1. Cut the final cut at 1. You might want to get in good practice of just looking down your stops so that you don't hit any of them. Make sure everything's down. And we're going to drop down to 1 inch and kill our last one here. Then we'll take a look at it, and at least over half of this job's done for me. We're right to 1 inch. It's right on a 4/4 mark. Right on my line. Shut my water off. So that's all I'm going to be able to do today without getting in trouble. Come up to 5.5. We'll get our mill back there. We'll unclamp it, raise our toe boards up so that we can grab them with the bobcat if we want to. I'm going to raise my stops up so that the next log I throw up here is ready to go. I'm going to put my clamp out and put it all the way down. Now let's raise the toe boards up so we can get underneath it with the bobcat. And that's all she wrote. I'll take you over there and show you the boards. There he is, the miscreant. Daniel Prophet of Pirate Solutions Forestry. So that's a way that you maximize your log. I got 5 there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 of his 13 done. One of them does have wane on it. I have a very large construction lumber order to cut for Ralph Alfieri. Alfieri Tree Service. If you need a good tree service on Cape Cod, call Ralph Alfieri. Out of my order tomorrow, when I camped out his log, the log that would finish this order, I'm going to take 2 flitches off the outside of that log that I know are at least 6 inches wide, clean, and the rest of the order I will cut for Ralph. And tomorrow I'll shoot another video, so I'll show you the chalkboard and what I have to cut for him. And then we will design a full-size camp out of that log around construction lumber for Ralph's chicken coop. So let's get some of these boards down. The one thing about pitch pine, it's very similar to Douglas fir. These are light as a feather because they're all out of the heart. And I'll just give you a look at the boards real quick. I'm not going to dump water on them or anything, but everything's 1 inch by 6 inches wide. He wanted 8 feet long. This log just happens to be 9. I cut an 18-footer in half. There is a little bit of center shake in that one right there. That one might end up giving him another board because of that. So maybe I'll cut 3 out of the other one, or I'll give him the one with Wayne, because the one with Wayne's a good one here. The Wayne just can go down. But beautiful 1x6s, 4/4, and that is sawmilling 101. So guys, I did lie to you a little bit. I don't need to cut any more boards out of that other log. I've still got 2 flitches up here that I believe are at least 6 inches of clear face on them that I can cut his other board out of. So I think that this is probably going to do his order completely, this one log. And for the size of it, that's really good yield, guys. All we have left over is a little bit of slab wood on the forks right here, and everything else is getting used. So that helps mapping out the end of the log, and at least to help you think your way through it. It's not a bad idea when you're starting out. Instead of trying to turn your first turn 90 degrees, just flip the log all the way over, because then you know you're going to have 2 parallel faces. And then when you flip up for your third cut, you can put a square. In the beginning, this is going to be hard for you to get by, but you can put a square right on your bunks and check and make sure for your third cut that your cant at that point, it's not really a cant because it's more like a big ass flitch because it's got 2 natural edge sides on it, but that it's square before you clamp it off. I do this a lot, so I know what square looks like when I roll up against my stops, and I'm completely confident with that, so it's fine for me. But the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it and the more comfortable you become, especially even dropping on 4/4 marks and knowing where to line up and things like that. Knowing that after you do some and your lumber comes out perfect. And in the beginning, it might not, but you'll get it. That's really all there is to it. I will edge off those other 2 boards. I'll probably do that tomorrow. And I will get them up on all these boards up on my sawhorses so that he can come get them. I think he's coming to get them next Tuesday. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. My back's a little too sore to do any yoga or anything like that. Got me a little bit of a head start on kind of a crappy day. I was inside and I was just getting bored. Then I got a log delivery and I said, we got to get outside. So here we are. We basically cut his order out. And if you're looking for anything from Norwood, check out my affiliate link in the description. I'm not really good at that, and I should mention it every time. But if you're looking for anything from Norwood, if you hit that affiliate link, I don't get any money out of it, but it lets them know that I'm pushing the product. So I would appreciate it as always. And for now, for Danny, who better be right behind me. Yeah, he is. He's right over there. And myself,